change of plans for sure. There's more snow than I suspected there to be. The spot that I was planning on, which is basically a spot where that was next to the river. So what I had to do was bring extra water. There should be way more snow up here at this time of year. This spot looks really good. To me, there's some shade, there's some sun, and this gives me an area where Jury can lay down and not be laying in the snow. So I really like it. So this is gonna be where we hang out today. This tree right here, you can see there's a piece of it, and then it goes across. That's a dead, obviously fallen tree. Now, this one in the middle and the one to the right are alive. What I'm looking for is a place to hang my backpack. This right here is in the way, so, and it's connected to there, so I need to remove that to make room for my backpack, but I also will be able to use that for firewood. So, from this side. I can leave this right there for further processing. And let's take a look and see how this is going to work as a backpack. That's just right. It's because I brought 2 bottles of water since I'm not next to the river like I thought I was going to be. The other thing that's making this backpack seem huge is this fleece blanket that I brought. Now the reason I brought this is because I wasn't sure if it would just be nothing but snow up here. So I wanted somewhere for Jury to be able to lay. Because if it was nothing but snow, she wouldn't be able to lay down at all the whole time we were up here. So now you can probably see there is places for her to lay that's dry. I mean, this ground is still soft, moist, but I'll go ahead and lay that down there right there for her. Come here, Jay. Get up there. Good girl. There you go. Good girl. Okay. I did bring some rope. That's a good just in case I need to tie Jury up for any reason. If something goes down, I like to be able to tie her to a tree where I know she'll stay. This is a down jacket. I have the flannel on right now and moving around. I'm plenty warm, but I did bring down jacket just in case. There's a small tarp. This is my fire kit. I always bring every time. And this is my chair, which I'm going to probably not set up actually today. And then this is the goodies for today. First of all, there's some oil that I actually mixed garlic and onion powder in. This is a couple beers that I may or may not have today. This is some kind of steak. I think it's more like a roast. It's like a chuck or something. But anyway, this is marinated in olive oil, some soy sauce, and some Spade ale seasoning. And I cut it up into chunks, and it's still a little bit frozen, but it'll be perfect. And then I brought a bag of carrots. I brought a bag of celery and a thing of butter. Basically the plan is to do like a hobo dinner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 items, hang them up in my tree till later, and I'll start focusing on where I'm going to have a fire and setting up. I do have a firearm today. This is a Springfield 9mm, and as you can see, it is clear. I don't come up here without a handgun, really, ever, especially when I'm with Jury. This is bear country, this is moose country. I'm not threatened really by either. I make a lot of noise, and I'm very conscious, and I know they will keep their distance if I keep mine. But I feel much more comfortable carrying this up here, especially as protection from humans. There are a lot of people out today that are on four-wheelers. Somebody on a snowmobile could come up here, even though it's not likely because there's not enough snow for a snowmobile right now. But if anybody approached me and there was more than a couple of them, I'd be outnumbered. And not really paranoid like that or think that that's going to happen. Obviously, I wouldn't come up here if I was really afraid of that. But I always pack protection. I do it safely, and I just wanted to get that out of the way so we could continue on with this. I did bring some extra ammunition and some earplugs in case I wanted to shoot, but as I can look around right now, there is nowhere in this area that's safe to shoot. It's very flat. You need a hill or something good, a backdrop, and I don't really care that much. I just figured maybe it'd be a fun ender to the video or something like that, but no big deal. So I'm thinking about having my fire right here somewhere. I know there's all this duff and everything else, but I can move it out of the way. And I even picked up a couple rocks already. I will get plenty more, but that way I can sit on this log and tend the fire this way. And I can move Jury's blanket a little bit out of the way, all my stuff obviously, but I think that looks like a good spot. I'm hoping that you can see behind me there's some beautiful mountain cliffs back there, and then obviously you can see these big pine hills, and then in front of me there's snow, and I mean it's just gorgeous here. So these mountains are mostly slate, I believe, and I'm not really sure exactly on the rock formations, but it's a subgrouping of the Rocky Mountains, but it's unique in its own fashion because it goes from east to west. It's the longest mountain range that, as far as running east to west in the United States. It has the highest peak in Utah is in this mountain range, Kings Peak, which is about 13,500, and then the town I live in is about 6,700 feet. So I'm probably somewhere in between, halfway between those two, where I'm at right now. I'm still low in the Uintas, even though obviously I'm in the mountains, but I'm not on any peaks or summits. But you travel up in elevation definitely to get here, moving from the desert mountain plains kind of area to pine, aspen, and lots of rock and cliffs. So anyway, that's kind of the scoop. There's a lot of dead firewood laying on the ground. Fortunately, it wouldn't be ideal to use since it's gonna be wet. So I'm just gonna try to kind of clear off this area here. And really what I'm looking to do is build a kind of a C-shaped pit that will go like this, and I'll be facing it this way and feeding it this way. Try to get the tall ones. Try to make this thing tall. You know what I mean? But it's not going to take much. It's almost more using it as a wind block than anything. Here, might be time to get a drink for me and Jerry. Good drink, Jerry. There's the fire pit. It's not really much, but I don't need much. And then right here is the log that I'll sit on and feed the fire and cook my food. So next thing, I guess, is to get firewood cut up. Found a nice dead pine that had a natural check in it and everything. So I chopped it down with the hatchet. sit pad out. Start. Whew. Look at that though. Oh, it's so perfect, man. So good. Alright. That's going to have to be enough to start with. For now, as far as sawing, I need to get some of this stuff obviously cut up with my axe, as well as get some shavings and whatnot. There. There we go. So that can be the bottom of my pit. Maybe those two. Some of that wood was a lot wetter than I was hoping it would be, so that's okay, but means that I'll just have to rely a little bit more on collecting sticks that are dead. So here's the tree that I cut down. It's gonna have lots of dead branches, good kindling, fire starter, and then I'll have to just do a lot more collecting, you know, of stuff to get it going. This stuff, super helpful. Want it to be flat. Good, like that. Here's a grip of curls. I feel like if I can get these going, I can use the small pine twigs on top of it to get it going pretty good. But we'll see. Ooh, there's the wind. Okay, so I got curls there. And then you can see I got a pile of thin, a little thicker, and then thickest here. So hoping that this will work out well. Of course, the wind picks up right as I'm doing this. There was no wind for this entire time. That's the edge I want. So let's just get this. Let's find some nicer curls here. My thinner stuff. I'm gonna put them in this little crack right here. Is that the edge? This side. I can tell that these are wet, so really hoping this works out. See how much they are hesitating to light. Damn it, I was trying not to go a little more for me. Ooh, there's the wind coming through to help out. Okay, better hurry up and get this smaller stuff on here. First I want to make one of those, whatever you call that. Ooh. Oh man, that is awesome, because I am freaking starving, so I'm ready for that. Oh, throw sheetings all over the place. Okay, now we're gonna get some coals going. You know, sometimes you get so caught up at camp that it's easy to start leaving stuff laying around everywhere. So once you kind of get over the madness, like, okay, I got the fire going, now I can take a breath, look around, check my surroundings. You really want to make sure that you're picking up after yourself. I don't plan on using my axe anymore, or my saw. And I'm going to start prepping my food. I should have been doing is I should have had these beers in the snow. Okay, so I have a fat tire by New Belgium out of Fort Collins, Colorado, where I used to live. Very good beer. I'm just gonna have to kind of dig out a little spot for it here, and it'll get cold enough. And then same brewery. This is a Voodoo Ranger IPA, Imperial IPA. Kind of cool. Anyway, I'm going to leave those sitting right there for now while I get the food prepped, and then I'll probably open one up pretty soon. A lot of work getting a fire going. Even just the, like, not even the chopping wood part, wood collection part, just the fire part, man. Getting some bigger stuff thrown on there to start getting some coals. Just because there's snow here doesn't mean it's easy to put a fire out real quick, especially if it spreads. I'm gonna get out my fixings here: butter, roast, celery, carrots, and then my oil with some herbs. Some onion powder, garlic powder. I like to make kind of like a big piece of it here, doubled up, which I'm pretty sure this is the 2 pieces. So there's 2 pieces here. I'll keep one folded up over here for now. But what the idea is, come on, that I'm using this up as I cut the vegetables. Carrots always go flying. But anyway, I use a cutting board for a plate, for cutting, to collect stuff with. You just saw me, I used it as a bellows for the fire. Kind of like fanning the air. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna make sure I put my little plastic baggies in my pocket here. That freaking fire is so warm, man. I am burning sitting next to it doing this work here. Celery could be a little bit easier to do, not as bouncy. Alright. And then I've already cut the meat, and I have already seasoned it. So basically, I'm just gonna dump it on there. but I will add more seasonings to it before. I brought butter, so I might as well use it. Just cut it up into little pieces spread out here. It's really gonna make it extra delicious. But then I also have this oil that has garlic powder and onion powder mixed in it. You gotta shake it up really good before you mix it. But mostly I want that on the vegetables more. Same thing, lots of it's not gonna hurt. So I want to just kind of fold it up like a boat on the sides. And then fold this in and over. Fold this in and over like that. I'm hoping that is good. I think if I keep the wood burning kind of toward the right here, these bigger pieces here, whew, careful, that I can push the coals more over to the left side here. Those are perfect. And then, oh, the smoke is killing me. This could be the fire, this could be the, basically the grill. So, let's throw that bad boy on there. So, I'm pretty confident that I could say that smoke is not good for your camera. And when this smoke picks up, it means business, so. I'm going to keep the camera cleared away from the fire a little bit. I can already hear that sizzling. I have a feeling I'm probably going to want to flip this over and over again quite a bit. I have thicker gloves that are leather if I need to. These aren't enough to grab that and flip it over. But I think it's time for a beer. Don't you think? I think. This is a Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. Like I said, I lived in Fort Collins where this is from. I've spent a lot of time at this brewery. Super awesome brewery, free tours, and just great beer. She shook. Oh, it's so good. Oh, that's right. They have a brewery in Asheville, North Carolina now, which is awesome. That means you'll be able to get it. Hopefully get a lot of their stuff on the east side, the East Coast. 9% alcohol by volume. And it's dark. And it's an IPA. I don't really like malty beers that much. Malty, coffee, thick beers. I love hoppy, zesty, citrusy, pales, IPAs, lagers, stuff like that. But anyway, this is a good beer. I just only had 2 beers in my fridge that were in cans that weren't PBR, which is pretty much what I drink most of the time anyway. But, you know, these guys specifically, New Belgium, they make great beer. This is not one of my favorites, and it's still good. Fat Tire, also not one of my favorites. That's their most famous beer, but there's nothing wrong with an amber here, you know, here or there. Just gotta stick with the IPAs and the citrusy stuff for sure. Well, I'm gonna try to keep this side of the fire going. I'm gonna flip this again. Gotta be really careful. This is so hot that, you know, leather gloves are not. And actually, really, the next time I do that, I better put on those thicker gloves. Let me tell you about Jury. She's the sweetest dog ever. She belonged to a girl that I met named Ashley, who I ended up having a kid with and marrying, who's the love of my life. But this dog has just been the best, man. And she's spoiled rotten, but she's so well behaved. I mean, you can just see, this is, if we're in the middle of nowhere, desert, middle of nowhere, forest, middle of nowhere, anywhere, if we're hiking, walking, climbing rocks, whatever she can do, she's right here, literally just to the left of me, just behind me. She's getting older, so, but, you know, we haven't, you know, stopped taking her on any adventures yet. She's not too old to do really anything that we can do. She still outruns us, outplays us. All right, I'm gonna flip it again and probably rotate it. See, these coals are nice, but I think that they might be snuffing. So I'm gonna set that aside real quick and take a stick of some kind. What did I do with that one? And I'm gonna push some of these hotter coals all kind of mix in here. Move some of that stuff over there. I don't want it to be too hot, but I don't want it to be too cool either. And I can tell just by the way that I had my hand on there for a while, this is not cooking super fast and it's not super hot, which I don't want it to cook super fast, but I do want heat. And then I'm gonna try to get this side going a little bit over here. There. Look at this day. I mean, this is so freaking nice. Let's go for a little walk. Oh, let me grab my beer. Don't leave the beer. What I can do here is I'll grab this, and if I take my glove off, carefully put my hand over it. Oh yeah, see, that's very warm. So one thing I'm gonna do is try to fan this though, because I want this part of the fire to get going. Whew. There it goes. And then that I'll just be flipping over. Flipper. Woo! Oil coming out. Gonna rotate. Oh shit! Oh shit! Woo-hoo! Get that hot oil on you. So we got a lot of juices. I'd say most of it's realistically probably water. But I'm gonna give that another little bit, and then I'll get it out and look at it. This last week was Thanksgiving, so this is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, Thursday. So the last 2 days I have been eating, I wouldn't say poorly because I've been eating like a king, but just not on my normal health plan. So when I came up here today, that's why I brought beef and vegetables, because I wanted to keep this diet program. I wanted to feel good about my diet. Then, of course, I decided that I was going to bring a couple beers. And the way I figure is that they're a treat. I deserve it. This is a Saturday where a lot of times people will do nothing on Saturday on their days off. The only exercise that they get, activity that they get, is at work. when I voluntarily go out and work my butt off, I feel like I deserve some things like this. So that's why I brought 2 beers, which is really nothing, you know, compared to the exercise and the healthy eating that I've done. This is another beer from New Belgium Brewery in Fort Collins, Colorado. This is their most famous beer. I don't know if you'd call it their trademark beer or what, but a lot of people know New Belgium because of this. Jerry smells something. Belgian style ale. Another one that has no story or writing on it, so you're just going to have to read my facial expressions. So much easier drinking after that Imperial IPA, which is super brutal. I think this is 5.2%, which is standard for most just normal lagers and stuff. But while I was drinking this beer, I just wanted to talk real quick about our yurt trip. So we're planning a yurt trip this Saturday, Sunday, Monday coming up. So 1 week from today we'll be coming up here for a yurt trip. Now you can see that there's snow around, but there's not enough snow for a snowmobile. And that's what we usually do, is we usually rent a snowmobile, haul all of our gear up. Or, actually, typically we hike in with all of our gear on polk sleds. But since this is a family trip where my mom and my kid are coming, we were going to do the snowmobile. Now it looks like we'll probably be doing the four-wheeler, which is fine. But that was one big reason that I came up here, was I wanted to scout what it looked like up here. So I'm kind of at the point where I'm really letting this fire die down, because I think that the food will probably be cooked good enough for me, and I really want this thing to be mostly died down by the time I leave anyway. You're probably thinking, whoa, Jason, why did you drink both beers pretty much right in a row? Well, I like to, if I bring 2 beers up, I like to drink the 2 beers, eat food, break down camp, hang out for a while, and then by the time I get back to the truck, I am absolutely going to blow zeros and I'm fine, as far as not having too much to drink. 2 beers is rarely too much to drink within a few hours, but, to be extra safe, I drink the 2 pretty close together, enjoy them while I'm cooking, and then I really enjoy my food, and then I put everything away, bust down camp, and then I know I'm good to drive home. So, and then obviously I'm always putting water in between as I'm drinking beer or anything, and I do that no matter when I'm camping or what I'm doing. One more drink of beer. We'll take a look and see what we got going on here. Ooh, it looks cooked. It really does. Looks like a stew. The trick is are the carrots done? Oh man. That's done, man. That is freaking done. Let's crush them good. But pack it in, pack it out. Oh, and you guys, this smells so good. It smells super good. And I can see the meat still has a little bit of pinkness, which is really good. This is not the best. This is not like prime steak or anything. Some kind of like stew meat or something. But the flavor's there. I have a fork in my mess kit. I don't even think I'm going to get it out. I think I'm just going to eat all this with my fingers. Ugh! Tear it down the shirt. The carrots and celery. Perfect, man. Perfect. Come here. It's really hot. It's yours. Good girl. I worry if it's too hot. That fire's going out nicely. Good girl. I usually don't give her people food that much at work, at home, because she doesn't do well with it. Nice juicy piece there. Okay, come here. Good girl. So, now what do I do? It's kind of the moment where I've had my beers, I've had my self-reflection time, and now it's just time to get down to business and get packed up and everything. So, super fun day. My wife is in the city with her family, with her mom and sister, and my son is with my mom for the night. So who knows what's gonna happen when I get back to town? But I bet you, as long as it takes for them to shop, in the same amount of time, me coming up here, I've done all of this, and we'll get back before they will. And this feels right now like a full day to me, you know? I know it's only been 4.5 hours, but I'm gonna take these 2 beer cans and fold them up in this tin foil, just like I would a meal. Drinking the rest of this down right now. Oh, even though it does concern me when I pour half of it down my chest. I don't need my knife anymore, I don't need this anymore, I don't need this anymore, and I don't really need my sip pad anymore. So all this is going to go in the pack. Okay, so I kind of want to stir this around a little bit here. Kind of even it out, flatten it out, and then this guy I can just kind of put right here. Just get the deep layers I can. Pick it up, and then that way my hands are dry. I'm not like cradling the snow. You know, I could even hold it with one hand there. It's actually a hefty amount of snow to just scoop onto the fire there. Man, I really wish I had a better shot of that mountain right there. It's just so cool, the contrast of the sun and the shade. I mean, it's massive. One thing I wanted to mention is that I did a sweep, and always do a sweep of my camp before I leave. Sucks leaving something expensive, something important, and it also sucks leaving garbage and being that guy, so don't do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. 1 week from now, I will have you on a 3-day, 2-night yurt trip. So hopefully I can figure out the stupid battery thing by then, but I'll have the GoPro. And anyway, Hap Haggard. Peace out.